Henry is back in Hong Kong. After years of being in the US military, he's decided to switch gears and take on a quieter, less chaotic life as a teacher. Yeah, we all know how this is going to go. He heads to his old school, Tak Chi Secondary, full of nostalgia and optimism. But the principal, the ever-so-charming realist, isn't exactly impressed. Teaching experience? None. Training? Nope. But then Henry pulls out the holy grail of job interviews, a glowing recommendation letter from a high-ranking officer. The principal doesn't argue with authority and hires him, but not without a warning. Your class is the worst. Henry's thinking, how bad can it be? The morning of his first day, Henry walks into the classroom, and wow, it's chaos with a capital C. Some kids are snoring, some are jamming out on ukuleles, others are frying ramen on portable stoves like they're running a food truck. Gordon Ramsay would have thrown a fit. And yes, someone's gaming like they're in a pro tournament with 0 Fs to give. Henry tries to introduce himself, but the kids give him the invisible man treatment. So, Henry switches tactics. Instead of yelling, he casually strolls around like he's at a Sunday market. He tells the ramen chefs to chill with the sodium, critiques the ukulele playing, try an A minor kid, and warns the gamer about screen radiation, because apparently Henry moonlights as a health PSA. When he finally gets their attention, he writes his name and phone number on the board. Big mistake. The kids roast him for his atrocious handwriting. One kid actually calls the number to troll him. Henry just grins like, nice try, amateurs. But when they go back to ignoring him, Henry flips the script, literally. He grabs a chalk, a rubber band, and bam, MacGyver style, triggers the fire sprinklers. The kids scatter like wet cats, and finally, he gets their attention. Welcome to my class. After class, the school's rebel alliance, aka the 5 worst students, Dinan, Zufa, Bruce, and Chris, are hanging out in the sports supply room for their daily dose of bad decisions, smoking like a group of misunderstood 80s movie villains. Jack, the self-appointed leader, is mooning over a picture of his crush from another grade. His friends roast him for it, but before Jack can come up with a comeback, in walks the basketball team. These rich kids are the school's villains with a vocabulary. They trash-talk Jack for being poor, as per their daily routine. Classic rich kid move. Later, Jack retaliates by throwing a bottle onto the court during practice, making the basketball captain take a spectacular fall. The rebels laugh, but their victory is short-lived when Miss Leon catches them and assigns detention. Naturally, they prank her and run off. These kids are basically one bad decision away from their own Netflix documentary. Meanwhile, the principal is sweating bullets because the education board is threatening to cut 20% of their funding. And guess what? The inspectors are coming for a surprise visit. Back in the classroom, Henry narrowly avoids a water bucket trap set up by the rebels. His reflexes? Faster than Spider-Man's. The kids stare in awe, and Henry seizes the moment. He grabs Jack's cigarette pack, turns it into a science lesson, and hooks the students with a deep dive into the health effects of smoking. It's like a live-action PSA, except it actually works. For the first time, the kids are paying attention, and Henry knows he's onto something. In the cafeteria, tensions boil over when the basketball captain trips Jack's buddy Bruce, sparking a full-blown food fight. Chaos ensues, and Henry gets called in to deal with the aftermath. 5 kids, including Jack, are suspended. Jack storms off, yelling about how rich kids get away with everything. Henry dives into their files and uncovers their sob stories. There's Zufa, a Pakistani kid who dreams of being a musician but faces constant discrimination. Dinan, a tomboy trying to win her dad's approval. Brothers Bruce and Chris, who've had to grow up too fast thanks to a deadbeat dad and are dealing with a ton of unresolved trauma. And Jack? His file's a blank page. Because of course it is. Henry gets creative to help his students. He convinces Dinan's dad to join a go-kart race, where they bond after nearly crashing. He helps Bruce and Chris's dad get into rehab, though not before the brothers confront him during a powerful rehab visit. Zufa? Henry pulls him out of a jam after a ticket-stealing incident, then inspires him to sing in public for the first time since being bullied. But Jack? Jack is still a wild card. He's working as a waiter when he gets roped into shady business with Jianying, an MMA bettor who's basically a villain from Fast and Furious. Things go south when Jack is caught tampering with a fighter's drink. He ends up locked in a locker. Spoiler alert, this will end terribly. Henry shows up at the gym, looking for Jack, his wayward student, and asks the fighters if they've seen him. One of the men, clearly the gym's hired intimidation, tells Henry to leave. But before he can, a muffled "help" echoes from inside a locker. It's Jack! Henry realizes what's going on and, in true action hero fashion, decides to fight his way to the truth. Now, this isn't just any fight, it's straight out of an 80s action flick. Henry effortlessly overpowers Jianying's lackeys with moves that scream, "I didn't just watch the raid, I lived it." One goon tries to pull a sneaky punch, but Henry dodges with the reflexes of a caffeine-powered cat. Chairs fly, tables break, and somewhere in the chaos, someone screams, "Is this guy even a teacher?" But then the gym's best fighter steps in, built like a tank and ready to rumble. Things get intense. For a moment, Henry looks cornered. Is this it? Nah. Henry channels his military training, dodging like Neo in The Matrix, and finally delivering a knockout blow that sends the guy sprawling. The fighter, by the way, was supposed to compete in 10 minutes. Oops. Cut to the hospital. Henry's getting patched up for his battle wounds, nothing a true action hero can't handle. And Jack, looking guilty, tries to spill the beans about Jianying's shady dealings. Before he can, Jianying's men silence him with a glare that says, "We know where you live." Henry's heroics don't go unnoticed. The news picks up the story. Teacher beats up professional fighter to save student. Henry becomes an overnight sensation, gaining a fan base at school he never asked for. The once disrespectful students now stand up to greet him in class, almost like they're saluting a war hero. As Henry adjusts to his new reputation, we get a flashback. Teenage Henry was a prankster extraordinaire. His greatest hit? Tossing a water balloon at a student playing piano at a school event, an act that, unfortunately, broke the kid's arm. Turns out that kid was Jianying. Yep, plot twist unlocked. Jianying never forgave Henry for ruining his dreams of becoming a world-class pianist. Back in the present, Henry's teaching game levels up. The students actually start listening in class, working hard for their upcoming college entrance exams. Well, everyone except Bruce. While his brother, Chris, dives into books, Bruce spirals into drug addiction, using pills to escape his troubles. Bruce flunks the mock entrance test, pushing Henry to promise, "I'll help you, no matter what." But things get darker. Bruce's depression worsens until one day, he jumps off the balcony of his house. The aftermath is devastating. Bruce is rushed to the hospital and slips into a coma. The media, of course, twists the story, blaming the school and Henry for Bruce's tragic state. The education board, ever the bureaucratic killjoys, interviews Henry and revokes his teaching license. Packing up his things, Henry leaves the school. The students chase after him, pleading for him to stay. Henry doesn't look back, but you can tell he's crushed. Meanwhile, the students channel their heartbreak into determination. If the system won't defend Henry, they will, by acing their exams. The day of the exam arrives, and just as the students are preparing to leave, they all receive a mysterious text from Henry. It asks them to meet him at school an hour before the test. But when they arrive, it's a trap. Jianying, still holding a grudge bigger than his biceps, has locked them in the school to ensure they miss the exam. "This is how you teach Henry a lesson," he sneers, revealing his villain-level pettiness. Henry, meanwhile, learns of Jianying's plan and storms the school like it's D-Day. He fights off Jianying's men, again, with moves that would make Jackie Chan proud. The students, finally free, race to the exam hall like it's the final leg of the amazing race. Meanwhile, Henry and Jianying square off in a brutal one-on-one fight. Jianying, seething, drops the ultimate bombshell. "You ruined my dream. That water balloon broke my arm. I couldn't compete, and I haven't touched a piano since." Henry tries to reason with him mid-fight. "I was a dumb kid. I didn't mean for that to happen." But Jianying isn't here for apologies. The fight escalates, complete with dramatic slow-mo punches, flying debris, and a knife struggle straight out of Die Hard. Henry finally gains the upper hand. With the knife in his grasp, he pauses. Instead of striking, Henry drops the knife and steps back. "I'm sorry for what I did, but revenge won't change the past." Jianying, shocked and, let's be real, scared, lowers his guard. He watches as Henry turns and walks away, leaving the fight and the grudge behind. All right, folks, now here's where you come in. Drop your moral of the story suggestions in the comments. But wait, Listen to what I've got to say first. This movie, it's telling us loud and clear, never underestimate a teacher with military training, a rubber band, and a heart big enough to forgive. So what's your take? Share it below. And remember, stay out of trouble unless Henry's your teacher. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, share, and subscribe to Rorschach Explains. And let me know which movie do you want me to explain next. Don't forget to tap the bell icon for more recaps like this one.